Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan, the department head of the Wound Center at the Medical City. And of course, I would like to thank the Department of Surgery and to congratulate them on their sixth postgraduate course with the theme Close Up, Examining Quality Standards and Indicators in Surgery. Now, the topic that was assigned to me is sharing our different KPIs and quality indicators, which have resulted for better patient outcome in our center, our Wound Center. And this would not be possible without, of course, the help of the different team members, the staffs, and of course, uh, which involves a much more larger scale when it comes to multidisciplinary team. And we have been working together for around 13 years now. And to sum it up, no, I think it's best to also give a brief um, introduction and a brief history about the Wood Center. So actually, it started with a dream innovation. So it was 2010 when I attended a training for certification to become a certified wound and ostomy nurse. So it's one of the rarest field of in nursing, not only here in the Philippines but also globally. But when it comes here in our country, there's only a few of us who's really certified and qualified to do ostomy and wound nursing. So there's a certification body, or there's really a training for program, a formal training program for this. No, so it was 2010, and the person who encouraged me to attend this is Dr. Rami Rojas, our colorectal surgeon. And it started when he told me that I should attend a seminar in UPPGH and look up to this enterostomal therapy nurse, which is in UPPGH. And she was the first, actually, ostomy nurse specialist in the Philippines. No? So when I attended that seminar, I got really interested, and it inspired me to do the same because um, there are so many nurses in the Philippines, but how come there are only few who are interested to take up this kind of specialization? So I went to Malaysia and and studied and went there to study the program. And it so happened that the program that time was composed of ostomy care, wound care, and incontinence. So it's a three program in one. Unlike from the previous education programs that WCET has. So WCET is a World Council of Enterostomal Therapists, wherein it is a organization founded by a colorectal surgeon and also a patient, Norma Hill, who started on creating training programs for nurses, and not only for nurses but also to other allied health professionals for patients who have undergone ostomy surgery, and also for those who have problems when it comes to to incontinence and wound care. So I would also like to, acknowledge and mention it would not be possible without, of course, Miss Cristela Villarreal, who was the chief nursing director that time. So I asked her permission to undergo this training program, and she really was very supportive of this. No? So it was 2010 when I came back after my studies. So it was around August, and I proposed a ostomy uh, center to the department, wherein it is a nurse-led center. And during that time, um, it was since it's a pilot program, it's really new. No, not only it's really new, not only at the medical city, but I think new to the Philippines. So it's an experimental thing. No, so since August, we started a pilot program for 1 month, if I can remember it. No, for 1 month, and I have one nursing orderly. Now he's a wound technician and also a nurse who would helped me to do the program. And we're located at the lower ground floor. And it so happened that time that when we had the program, Dr. Marco Abad also has a proposal at that time. And his proposal was a wound center. So the nursing department said, why not combine the proposal of Dr. Marco Abad and Ryan? So, and I said, it's a good idea because when you go abroad, the basic standard is the wound center and the ostomy center is always together. So it's like brothers and sisters. No? So they work hand in hand because ostomy may get wounds and also complications on the skins, no? And other and other things that may happen to a patient with a ostomy. So Dr. Marco Abad and I have collaborated together to form a formal center, again located at the lower ground floor. And we said, when we started, we said, how can we gather more patients? How can we encourage people to go and move on to this change? No, and we have agreed that why not just make everything everything that we do, we document it. And I think one of the best evidence is, of course, when you have documentations of patients who have healed, no? Patients who are satisfied with the care that is given to them, and let's see what will happen next. No? We just keep on moving. So this is one of the first success stories that we have, a patient that we have. And since the Ostomy Center has, Dr. Ramiro has a colorectal surgeon, and Dr. Marco Abad for the ostomy, Dr. Ramiro has, and Dr. Marco Abad, who's a vascular surgeon, is for the wound care. So it's really a team of experts, no, for both for the nurses and also for the doctors in their own field of specialization. So on the first months, of course, we did not expect any effect or any feedback, good feedback from it, because it's new and it's a change, no, to the practice, going from the traditional wound practices or ostomy care, now going to the modern standard practice. No? There are some resistance, but we just keep on moving forward. And we said, anyway, the one that would benefit this is the patient, no? And also the institution as well. So from one patient a day, two patients a week, no? So until the time that more and more patients come to the center, and this is not by marketing or not by with the work of the marketing, but with with our own patients, no? With by word of mouth. They spread the good news that our wounds and our ostomy complication was healed at the center of the medical city, and we are well taken care of, and the nurses there have their time to talk to us, listen to our concerns, and give us different options when it comes to the treatment. Now, Dr. Rojas and I have developed this standard care wherein patients, and together with the colorectal surgeons also in the colorectal department that time, we're in the phases of care when it comes to ostomy patients. Patients who have undergone ostomy surgery must undergo these three phases to promote and improve their quality of life, and at the same time promote the health of their relatives as well when it comes to the care. Because most of the time, some of the dilemmas that we may encounter is that most relatives, no, are the ones that are being discussed, or sila mismo yung what you call nandidiri sa pasyente nila because of, I think, lack of counseling. And of course, we need to further orient them and give them teachings when it comes to how does it work, what to expect, how to take care of their patients, at the same time how to support them. No? So ostomy care we developed, there are three phases wherein yung preoperative, post-operative, and continuative care. No? So we're in most of that phases, no, the relative is always involved. So pre-operative, it involves ostomy marking or sighting, wherein our nurses would be the one to determine on the proper site wherein the stoma will be exteriorized or will be applied or will be put, no? And then pre-operative counseling, of course, with the family member. This is done, no, 2 to 3 days before surgery. No? So it is not applicable to patient who will undergo emergency surgery or same-day surgery because it doesn't have enough time to talk to the patient. Wherein the focus of the patient is already on the surgery at hand. Wherein if you talk to them at least 2 days before the surgery, they will be more interested and they have this will eagerness to learn things, new things about their journey at the hospital prior to the surgery. Post-operative, of course, at that time we're going to introduce the different pouching techniques, orient the patient and the family members about the different products so that they can have different choices because we know that these products are quite expensive. No? So they can choose the product which is according to their financial capability so that there can be continuity. No? And of course, where are they going to do? Where are they going to when they have certain complications? What are they going to do if they have certain simple complications encountered at home? So we teach them also some of the basic care. And at the same time, if they are not that independent enough, based on our evaluation before they are discharged, we will also offer the continuative care program, wherein the continuative care, it's either they would go to the center for an outpatient visit till they are ready to do it by themselves or to be independent, or we will go to their houses to perform the procedure or to keep on educating them or to continue the program until such time, based on the evaluation, that they are ready to be independent. Wherein that is the main goal of the program is to make the patient independent so that they can continue their daily living, they can go back to work, they can spend time with their family, despite of having a stoma. So this program that we have is really successful, and even patients from other institutions come here for this program that we have. Kasi we really have a very unique and strong program. Now, when it comes to the wounds, it was Dr. Abad who made the different pathways and algorithms pertaining to uh, to wound care, wherein we collaborated together because here in the Philippines, the scope of practice of nurses is different, and we have to always consider that. Wherein there are some scopes in the nursing practice here in the Philippines where uh, uh, handling of dressings and handling of changing of wound dressings is okay, and also on certain types of wounds. No? But if the wound will be on a non-viable side, so meaning it needs surgical evaluation, that is the time that the patient should be referred to a surgeon, no? Surgeon of choice of the attending physician. No? So, and this is because there is a need for surgical evaluation of the patient. No? And hanggang doon lang yung scope ng practice ng nurse natin. If necrotic yan or sloughy tissues yan, definitely the wound will not heal if we will not take it out. So, or either we would do other methods of debridement, just like yung autolytic debridement or enzymatic. But again, this is long. And in the Philippines, and that is the point wherein the care should be collaborated with the doctor. Some things like what if the patient would bleed? No? What if the patient needs anesthesia because of the pain? No? What if the patient has infection and needs some prescription? Of course, this is way beyond our scope of practice. So there is a part wherein the decision should be made that this should be part of the doctor. This is still the part of the nurses. No? And up to now, from our 13 years of experience and practice here at the Wood Center, almost every year we keep on reevaluating the policies and the guidelines. Wherein the benefit would be number one, patient safety. Second is respect to the scope of practice of all of the specialties. And number three, of course, is to the improvement of the center. No? Now, as time goes along, the three of us, Dr. Mark Wabag, Joseph, and me, Joseph is our head nurse, and same like me, Joseph is a certified tissue viability nurse and had his training in Singapore under the European Wound Management Association program. So I think there's only few of them who attended that program that time. No? So we, because of the improvements that we have done and identifying the different choke points of the center, we were able to cater now ostomy, chronic wounds, and incontinence. But the centers are, the key role players of the centers is always the nurses, wherein they are really trained. No? They are really skilled when it comes to taking care of patients with wounds and with ostomies and incontinence. No? And they are the positive thing, and I think the advantage is they are really passionate on what they do, and this is their pride, wherein they are also being respected by other specializations, no? And also I thank the doctors who respect my nurses when it comes to their practice because they really love what they're doing. And when it comes to taking care of the patients, they really spend time on talking to the patients and of course understanding the different complications that they encounter. Now, we also have developed different best practices when it comes to prevention, surveillance, and monitoring. And of course, the different treatment modalities are based on the global standards. And actually, that is our main goal, to have a standardized practice when it comes to ostomy and wound care. No? Now, that is on my point as a nurse. No? So in the nursing side, later on, you'll see that the goal of the nurses now is to have nursing specializations, or what we call the nursing career track, where in the nursing department and the nursing training division of the medical city is now very busy into moving the program for the nurses, no? At the same time for their growth, for personal growth. So because in the States or abroad, nurses have also these different types of specializations wherein they focus into. Now, when it comes to prevention, of course, we started on hospital-acquired injuries, where before we have different issues pertaining to medical liabilities and at the same time patient complaints. No? So we have uh, pushed a program wherein there is a standardized assessment of patients, specifically at the critical care areas wherein they are at high risk of developing pressure injuries. So we have a dedicated wound and ostomy nurse assigned at the ICU, at the AXU, at the telemetry, wherein they make their daily rounds and do assessment, and at the same time, no, treat patients who may have developed early pressure injuries and other skin injuries as well. No? And second, the in critical care departments like the ICU and the stroke unit have made it a part of their training program, wherein new nurses are being exposed to and have their training, basic training at the center, so that they themselves have, and the center and the doctors, no, have their own understanding and definition of terms when it comes to what is a stage one, what is a stage two, what is a stage three, stage four. We're in our experience, no, when it comes to identifying the root cause, analyzing problems, we can see that the definition of terms sometimes is an issue wherein they look at the wound on a different point of view. So we must have just one guidelines or standardized definition of things. So it would be aligned. Next is, of course, the treatment modalities. Of course, it is based on the different modern concepts nowadays, wherein the time concept is involved. And of course, the practice of ostomy is based on the Philippine law in nursing, no, pertaining to the scope of practice. So we make sure that we won't go overboard for patient safety at the same time. And importantly, we always involve the family member when it comes to the care, decision making, and choosing the different options for their patients. No? And there is actually a global maxim wherein you will always hear this maxim to different wound conferences wherein we should treat the patient as a whole, not only the whole of the patient. So meaning the approach should be holistic, multidisciplinary, or interdisciplinary. And the goal is to improve their quality of life. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we're in on the first 2010 to 2015, no, actually it it increased from time to time, and just a benchmark, 5 years benchmark of the census, it was 2019 pre-pandemic. This was our treatment census at the center. So during that time, wherein we decided that we may need to expand because of the number of patients that are being turned down, because of the number of treatments, and of course, because of the number of nurses that we have. So we said we need a much more bigger area, a much more safer area wherein it has, of course, the facilities and the equipments that are really suited for a ostomy and wound center. So, number one is, of course, the ventilation, the bigger space where it can accommodate more patients. At the same time, we have a separate area for consultation and separate area for meeting the patients. No? Now, we made the proposal at 2019, and it was 2020 when the pandemic came. We thought that, is this a good choice or is this a good decision? Because the pandemic came, hospitals, some of the hospital closed, some of the wound centers closed also, and patients are afraid to go to the hospitals, and at the same time, transportation was difficult. So together with the top management, and of course the center, we still think that it is the right thing to do. So we together, the center, Dr. Abad, Joseph, and also the team of Attorney Martin, Samson, and Architect Chris, no, we developed the center, no, on wherein it is going to be properly placed. No? So we said the previous location was at the second floor. So we think that it should be at the ground floor wherein access to the patient would be much more easier, especially for patients who are in the wheelchair or patients who are in the crutches and difficulty of walking. So we still proceed. So you can see here that in 2021, still the pandemic, we have made a good increase, no, when it comes to our patient census. And up to 2022 last year, we have, because of the number of rooms that we have, it almost doubled compared to 2019. So what made our uh, decisions, no? What made our decisions have made an impact on our decision on making this continue? Of course, we identified certain KPIs or certain indicators that may help us on this decision making. And actually, our story was published in the Wounds Asia Journal on 2021, wherein we shared our experience and how did we uh, overcome the challenges of the pandemic. So because of most of the wound centers and ostomy centers of the different institutions was closed, and we are the only one who is operating, eventually those patients came to the hospital. No? And when they see the new center, no, they see that, oh, this is a cleaner center. It doesn't have any smell at all, despite that they're taking care of ostomy patients and wound patients at the center. You can actually have that, they have their feeling of confidence, and of course, they have the feeling of they feel safe, no? And because of the cleanliness of the center and of course the people who was working in the center, they felt that they do belong, no, in here. So what are the different factors that we consider? Number one is competency of staffs. Are they well trained? Did we train them enough? What are the things that they still need to know? No? And what are the level, no, of skills that they may have before they handle certain situations? Or that's why we evaluate them every month, no? And to see if they are already okay on going to the ICU. Can they handle themselves at the OR, assisting to the surgeons, or they can handle the patients at home? Now, we also check the turnaround time for the services provided. No? This is to know because we are already having too many patients and scheduled patients, no, that we might get complaints because one patient may have much more longer uh, time rather than the other one. And when it comes to prioritization, justification of expenses. Are we overspending? Are we underspending? Or we are just within what we have planned in this year? Setting budget and goals. No? So running an ostomy center is not just, it's not only giving services to the patient, no? It's also maintaining the operational cost of the center. So it would include, of course, to get more manpower. Of course, we might be able to sustain the center. So this is what I tell to my doctors wherein, of course, you have to bring patients. Now, the center will not be able to obtain too many walk-in patients, no? Because most of them have doctors already. So that is the mindset of it. So basically, we might just get a few walk-ins, and but most of the patients are really from other doctors as well. So we have it should still be a collaboration of care between the main attending physician and of course the center. So it's always the main attending physician who will make the final decision. Are we able to obtain the plan or proposed goals? So what is our operational capacity? We have 7 rooms. No? So are we uh, maximizing all of the rooms? Are we utilizing all of the rooms or not? So this is to be able to determine if our center is getting enough patients and at the same time to know if what are the things that we may need to improve. What are the things that might be lacking in our services? And also, we encourage other practitioners to bring patients and to use the center as well. Now, when it comes to manpower capacity, of course, we have to identify if we do have enough manpower. Now, that is why when we started, it's only me, and then from every year, we evaluate if we need an additional staff. So now, presently, I have 12 nurses. 5 nurses is assigned at the outpatient department, wherein they will take care of the outpatient visits. 2 nurses is assigned upstairs, wherein one is at the ICU, one is at the inpatient or admitted patient at the general nursing wards. Wherein in the future, we are also planning to have it increase. And also a nurse who is assigned at the home care or continuing care or our Wounds Wheels program. Now, also, let's not forget that the patient satisfaction is always important. What are the feedbacks of the patient? What are the feedbacks of the patient's relatives? Most of the time, we ask them what are their preferred services also or additional services that they might be thinking of for them. So one is, I think in the future or we'll be setting up a as ostomy support group that is based here in the medical city, wherein this support group would talk to patients who might have, having problems when it comes to ostomy care and also prior to going home. No? Someone who have the ostomy with them also would talk to them. So a person who have experience of having one or a person who also have the same uh, uh, problem or complication so that may have a good sharing. So some also we identified poor collection of data, patient safety issues. This is would come to the assessment. That is why the training for the nurses at the different departments and the different institutes should have the same understanding when it comes to wound care and ostomy care. Second is we have LAC assessment tools and different types of materials when it comes to patient assessment. Of course, if this would not be taken care of or not paid attention to, we might have increase of hospital complaints pertaining to the incidence of hospital-acquired injuries. Now, when it comes to the facilities and equipments, we were able to improve the facility during the pandemic. So we have this room with a foot bath so that we won't be using basins anymore, disposable basins or basins that the patient will bring from home. We have a negative pressure rooms. We have a good exhaust system with UV light and HEPA filters. Standard disinfection of rooms every after treatment of patient. We use disposable linens and pillowcases. Of course, separate rooms for ostomy and wound care. And of course, we also have a dedicated ostomy toilet. Now, this is just a sharing of what have the Department of Nursing and of course that this is was the QSD that time. Now I think now this is the SEAL department wherein they made a study and improved some of the different challenges pertaining to pressure injuries. And this won an award at the HNA, wherein they have identified that patient assessment form revision, refresher course for the different nursing departments, and also it is best to include other specialties as well when it comes to the understanding of pressure injuries, no, and other skin injuries would benefit the hospital. Second, we have developed the form uh, of the wound progress form, wherein it is a general form that can be easily understandable by everyone. So no more long narrative assessments and long narrative documentations. You just have to tick the boxes, no? And these different rows would pertain to the different number of shifts, no, of the nurse, wherein there is a continuous assessment of the patients. This is a standardized tool that was developed by the center, and I think now it's used even at the nursing wards. So another is the development of the different multi-specialty team, creation of certain policies and guidelines pertaining to the practice of wound care in nurses, no, on how they're going to handle patients with wounds. And of course, identifying different key areas or patients that may have probable entry points, especially in identifying community-acquired versus hospital-acquired pressure injuries and other skin injuries. Now, this has been an issue before, wherein most of the patients would say that they had an injury at the hospital wherein they would claim reimbursement. So we were able to take care of that by doing this certain surveillance. No, this is in collaborations with the different departments assigned, specifically critical care area, ICU, AXU, and of course the telemetry section. Now, the training and dissemination for the nursing career track, also for other nurses pertaining to the field of ostomy and wound care is encouraged. And of course, we are able to maintain the reporting to the top management on a regular scheduled basis. So this is pertains to the budget hearing and of course to the business and strategic planning wherein we can verbalize the need and the issues that we have encountered and the help that we need from them. So if those issues before were not addressed, of course, these are the impact of it. So most of the patients and relatives would say to refuse or would refuse to pay their bills or may file a complaint, litigations because of the uh, injuries that may have acquired at the hospital. So that is the importance of having our wound nurses assess the patient who is confined. So a mere assessment would be would have a very great impact or a big impact when it comes to the um, this type of issues, no, especially if a patient complaint or if we have a medical or litigations issues, at least there's a documentation that the patient has been assessed, and yes, it has been there are preventive measures that is done to the patient, because most of the scenarios are there are no documentations and there are no assessments done to the patient. And at the same time, even the main attending physician are not aware that the patient already has pressure injury. So communication is always the issue and the problem, wherein we should always communicate to one another. Now, this is a key performance indicator that we have wherein it shows how we monitor the patient at the intensive care unit and stroke unit, wherein to most of the patient or almost all of the patient that are confined at the hospital are being assessed, and also based on their risk level using our different tools that is available at the hospital. So there are always a close collaboration between critical care nurses, critical care specialists, general nursing units, and of course other departments when it comes to the detection and identification of such injuries. Now, we always encourage the reporting of these cases, and we do not, um, because previously we have this issue wherein the nurses or the staffs are afraid to report incidences of skin injuries and pressure injuries because they think that they will be liable, or they would think that they will be, they will be, disciplinary action will be given to them. Now, because of this, based on our study, there are many unreported incidences. So they keep it by themselves. Wherein we should encourage them to report this so that we can gather the different data, the proper data, and also to identify the root cause of the problem. Now, this is, of course, our turnaround time, the outpatient center, wherein this turnaround time is not only available for us, but also shared to the staffs. Now, this is to have focus and prioritization. Now, this KPI helps us in identifying what matters most to the success of our day-to-day operation. By setting and monitoring our turnaround time, we can prioritize and easily adapt to the patient surges, or to also put extra effort, and of course to make the resources available on time, and to identify the different choke points of the operations on a day-to-day basis. So almost every day, we do huddles before we start our operations, and we also have Dr. Abad to guide us and also give some advices on how are we going to handle the day. For example, we have too many consultations and we have too many patients available, or patients that are from the inpatient wanted to be brought down to the center wherein it is not possible. So those are the different things. Now, we also have um, nursing career track empowerment, wherein part of the training program is for our nurses, not only for the new nurses, but also to the other nurses at different departments. No, especially this one. This is a nurse from the NICU, and also some nurses from the delivery suites, wherein patients, baby, infants, newborn may also have stroke. So at least they have point of care. They can take care of the patient when the patient is at their department. Without us, they can still take care of the patient, and they can know how to properly change the stoma, how stoma appliance, how can they properly do change of dressings as well. So that the patient's waiting time is much more decrease and lessen. We also have collaboration of work when it comes to training programs with the Endocrine Diabetes and Thyroid Center, wherein they are very, very active, and they are very efficient when it comes to doing diabetic foot screening programs. No? So I think we are one of the first hospitals and institutions who have this in the diabetes centers done. And our nurses there are really skilled and trained to do this. And of course, we host different, in our 13 years of operations, we were able to host a ASEAN Congress. Um, And this year, this December, we will be also having a enterprise-wide summit. Hopefully, it will go well. It will go well. Now, we have our new program, which is continuity care, where we have identified that this was very effective during the pandemic, wherein patients were not be able to go to the hospital, and they have the convenience and the confidence that they can be visited at home with on-time consultation. So when our nurses is at the patient's home, the doctors or the consultants can have a real-time um, online consultation. We have surgeons who always refer patients to this program of ours. So actually, we were able to develop different wound centers and nursing specialties at our enterprise. So we have nurses at South Luzon, and presently we have TMC Iloilo nurses here training with us. So, and also we have nurses from TMC Clark, and hopefully TMC Pangasinan would join also the club. Wherein our goal in the future is to have a TMC enterprise link system wherein a standardized care between our network, our brand, which is the Medical City, will have the same care and the same quality of care given to patients with ostomy, wound, and incontinence. Huh? So before I end, I would like to leave everyone with this message from Peter Drucker, wherein what gets measured gets done. Measurement is essential management tool as it helps us determine if our work is making an impact, manage resources properly, and focus proper management for patient clients and to the organization. Key performance indicators is very important. It provides a very quantifiable way to measure the progress of an organization or a specific project towards goals and your objectives. Now, they act also as benchmarks against which performance can be improved, which performance can be assessed. It is also effective when it comes to decision making at the center. And they provide a very structured way to measure, track, and improve the performance, ultimately helping organizations achieve their strategic objectives and remain competitive when it comes to the different respective markets. So I think that would be all, and thank you very much for your attention.